Hi, Deborah Leanne here, and time for a little bit of authentic life. What does it mean to lead with authenticity and grace and power, and love with authenticity, grace, and power, and live with authenticity, grace, and power? Well, every week I come to you with a little bit of a different message, but it's all very much on the human spectrum of how to be the most we can be, how to be our most powerful selves, and show up in truth. And there's this human tendency to let fear run us. And it's showing up in an epidemic level at this point in time in our communities, in our not just our own lives, but I mean, if you look at the media and our governments and the way our organizations are run, many employees, they're saying up to 75-80% of employees are unhappy in their jobs, yet they stay because they fear the alternative, the change, the not getting enough money, the lack of security. Fear is running us at such levels it's causing major issues health-wise. It's part of the stress that we're all living under. And I have been hanging out with this fear thing for the last 10 years. Let me tell you why I'm bringing it up with vulnerability this week. Because vulnerability is that fear of being exposed. It means that we are stripped away, bare naked, and in a way that is exposes us to the elements or to potential attack, whether that's physical or emotional, doesn't really matter. And this is a big deal for us because we are just learning how to recognize that fear is not we don't have to live with it running us, that it's like a major hog of energy that is running in the background and draining our energy, draining our battery power, draining our connections, and draining our ability to shine brightly. It puts a shadow over a lot of things because we may say we want something, but the fear of actually letting go of what we have pulls us back from that reaching that we're doing to move into our next phase or to move into a new relationship or that risky potential, initiative that we would like to start. Some people just run in the face of fear. They run the opposite way. Some people run to it, but they run. Some people freeze. I'm more of a freezer. Well, that's not true. Sometimes I run as well. I've been known to leave situations and organizations and relationships when I was at the point of being fearful of what might happen if I stayed. And sometimes I made that decision and I can see where it got in the way versus moving towards something that my heart was calling me towards. If I was running from something else, it normally had some kind of a backlash, where I got in my own way. And I wrote about it in the newsletter, but just in case you didn't read through that, I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit about why this is so big for me this week. In 1993, on October 30th, I got married in the most amazingly beautiful wedding. I still think it's one of the most amazingly beautiful weddings I've ever been to or seen or been a part of. The other thing that happened is the celebration of that wedding day is bittersweet for me. I mean, I had a beautiful and amazing family, and that has gone by the wayside with the divorce, which that anniversary, 10 years ago, is tomorrow. On top of that, 10 years of coming away from that marriage and moving into what it means to be a single mom and dating again and starting a new business and being financially responsible for myself. A lot has happened. I've grown a ton. I've opened my heart and learned to trust my soul and the inspiration that I receive more and more and more. Still some work to do there. Yet I'm beginning to realize that I am much happier when I am moving towards something versus running away from something. And this week, though, it just kept pulling me back, all of the emotions. And I think that because maybe there's something about the 10-year mark. Maybe it's about that tomorrow night is also this party that's celebrating Bob and his wife moving to their new home in Australia. And that's fine, except for it means that our daughters will spend a good chunk of time there, a couple times a year. And I can't compete with that, or I tell myself I can't at this point in time. So there's a lot of sadness. There's sadness around the family really being broken up geographically as well as physically and emotionally. And there's also, I want to go to the spiritual bypass place of, oh, but there's so much to be grateful for. And I should have let this go. And I shouldn't still feel what I'm feeling. And that is not helpful. By telling myself that I should be over this and should not be feeling what I'm feeling, and that I should be strong enough and smart enough and brave enough to just let all of that fall away and move into my new life and embrace what's coming. And that's true, yes, yes, yes. And it's not honoring of what is really up for me. And our feelings are there as guidance, as a reminder of what, that was not what I wanted. What I am wanting, what I am moving towards is going to feel differently. So thank you for the reminder. And that helps the feeling to be felt and validated and honored. And it also allows it to step aside and allow the rush of gratitude to come through. And there cannot be fear and gratitude at the same time. They cancel each other out. If you're in fear, it's really hard to be grateful. And if you are in gratitude, that just takes over your heart, and there's no room for the fear to run you from that space. So, yes, I did a lot of that this week. A lot of listening and feeling and contradicting that feeling by trying to feel differently than I was feeling, and which just made it all a bigger bundle of mess. and then it comes out inappropriately. So where I wanted at one point, I did not, but I wanted to kick my cat. I was angry at the way he was needing me for something when I felt like I didn't have it to give to him. And the other thing was that it came out inappropriately when I was asked how I was doing on this metabolic challenge at the gym. And the trainer that asked me about it, I just started crying, telling her about my week and wanting to provide excuses for why I'm not following this diet. Yes. But also letting her see that this woman who's a speaker and a trainer and a coach and supposedly has it all together doesn't have it all together. That I'm literally, I was falling apart. And she was very kind and compassionate. And I can't control the way she thinks of me or how that fits into her previous view of who I am and and my reputation at the gym or whatever, but it doesn't matter. This is who I am. This is more of who I am, even more of who I am. And I went round and round on topics, all the way through this morning. And then what it came up for me is, why am I so afraid? to share my vulnerability. Why? Because vulnerability and authenticity are getting a bad rap right now, because some people feel like it is airing their dirty laundry and telling you too much. And we don't really want to hear that very often. When we say, "How are you?" to someone, we really don't want to know how they're doing. And it's, socially inappropriate to just kind of overshare in our culture. Yet close friends and people that we can trust that, and we ask for the time and the ear to listen, they do want to know. They do want to hear what's going on. They do want to be of support and show their love and call you back and do for you. And that's a really new thing for me, because I have not wanted to ask for help, not reached out very much at all in my life. I feel very much like I've been that little 2-year-old that's like, I can do it all by myself. And very often I do. I don't process emotional stuff with other people. That's part of the reason why I'm not with my previous boyfriend lover person, is because I didn't share with him, work through it with him, process things with him. Some things I did, and I got better at trusting and allowing myself to have that. But I also realized that it's not my comfort zone, and he wasn't the right person always to share things with. You want to share in a safe environment, not where it's something that will be used as ammunition against you another time. And another reason why we're not together. So it just wasn't the right alignment. And I honor that, and I allow that to be, and I allow it to fall away. And when my daughter asked me how I was doing this week, because she knew it was the anniversary of our wedding and divorce, and I shared that, I'm sad and I'm grateful on some levels and I'm sad on others, and I'm just listening to what my body needs and wants right now. And I'm taking things slowly, and I'm doing what feels right to do. And extreme self-care. One of my friends that called me the other day asked how I was doing, and she said, "So, maybe a bubble bath." And I said, I was just thinking about that. I got these beautiful lavender and frankincense bath salts from one of the guests that stayed at my house. And I poured that into the bathtub last night and just loved the scent and the time and the no phone, no sound, solitude and silence, and the sensuality of treating myself in that way. So that's been my week. It's not been an easy one, but it's amazing to me that when I ask for help, how my friends come forward. It's amazing to me that I can do that and people don't see me as weak or a burden or, oh, there she is again, or whining, or, and selecting the right support system is a big factor. And let me just add one more thing. There is something extremely important about doing this work inside, with my inner wisdom, my inner guides, my connection to all that, ancestors, especially this week in the All Saints and All Souls Day and Hallows Eve and all of those. I'm very wanting to connect to all the wisdom that is available to me. And there's a time when we really need a physical hug. We need for someone to physically pick up the phone so we can hear their voice. We need that kind of community around us. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I was going to bring forward that you can't become yourself by yourself. A quote that was something similar to that I saw this morning, which was so brilliant. And I always thought that all of my personal growth was my personal growth. And that's not true. We can't get to our best and highest and most amazing selves without the support of others, without mirrors and people to listen and people to hold us and people to take care of us and people to run with us and play with us and co-create with us. The good, the in-between, and the not so good. Having people around or having people to call, and then getting over, for me, the fear of calling and asking, that's where I'm at with you today. So if any of these words resonated with you in any way, I'd love to hear. But more importantly, this is the time, if it's not a sad week for you, to make sure that you have those people around, as Brene Brown calls it, our share sisters, our shame sisters, our that special couple people that you can pick up the phone and go, oh my God, I know this isn't how I should be feeling, but this is how I should be feeling, or this is how I want to feel right now. And if you can just listen to me and let me get through this feeling, I'll get to the other side of it. We need people like that we can tell our deepest, darkest, open, wounded parts of ourselves to. And by doing that, it's like confession. It heals, it releases, it allows us in some way to begin the self-forgiveness and self-acceptance part, which is a valuable, invaluable piece to the puzzle. Because I think that's what I've been dealing with this week, is the inner critic or the inner anger of, why can't you just be done with this? Why can't you just move on? Why are you letting this continue to, hurt you or create sadness? And what I'm learning is it's just another form of love. It's just another form of forgiveness. It's another form of letting go, and it's another form of healing. Sometimes healing doesn't feel so great. And I know that there will be days that will come in the future where, when I think about all of these particular dates and the events and the passing of time, all of that will heal. It'll heal me. It'll heal those around me. It'll heal our children. And hopefully, if there's anything residual with my ex-husband, with him too, and with my former lover. I want us all to be better and stronger and be able to have more of what we want and move towards that with open hearts, not with that, oh my God, if I really show my true colors, I won't be loved place. It doesn't get us a lot of anywhere. In fact, those are the kinds of consciousness levels I was in when I created those relationships, which is why they're not right now. It's time to move. It's time to grow. It's time to expand. And it's definitely time to reach out and hold hands with someone else. I suggest someone on both sides, to the right and to the left. I particularly can feel my support system from the divine on my back. I love that feeling. And then reaching my heart out just to everyone and anyone that I come in contact with. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being a part of my heart and my healing and my tribe. Take excellent care of yourself. We need each other. Bye-bye.